The internet is full of ghosts. Most of them are harmless, consisting of forgotten social media profiles or abandoned blogs from a decade ago. But some digital footprints lead to a place much darker than a simple forgotten password. In 2009, a well-known Reddit user named ReligionOfPeace suddenly stopped posting to his fellow Redditors. He was a grumpy but interesting old man who seemed to spend all his time sharing news and opinions. He claimed to be a veteran and often spoke about his long life with a sense of weary wisdom. When he passed away, a fellow user decided to create a memorial for him. This gesture of respect was a spark that lit one of the most disturbing mysteries in the history of the web. The user who sought to honor him discovered a website called Lake City Quiet Pills. At first glance, it looked like a broken, old-fashioned image gallery or a simple forum for enthusiasts. The site featured a tribute to ReligionOfPeace, whose real name was allegedly Milo. But as people began to dig into the site's background, the tone shifted from a memorial to something far more professional and dangerous. The name of the site itself was a first major red flag. Lake City is the name of a massive, government-owned ammunition plant in Missouri. In the world of firearms and military contractors, a quiet pill is a slang term for a bullet. The realization started to sink in that this might not be a hobbyist site at all. Researchers began looking into the source code of the website. What they found buried in the hidden layers of the site's data was a series of strange, encrypted messages. These were not just random strings of numbers and letters. They looked like job postings, complete with dates, locations, and specific requirements for personnel. One of the most chilling aspects of the site was its calendar. It was filled with what looked like mundane appointments, but the language used was highly suspicious. Users talked about things like ironing shirts or attending parties in cities across the globe. In the context of the site's name, these phrases took on a much more sinister meaning. Investigators on Reddit began to cross-reference these dates and locations with real-world events. They found that several of these parties coincided with high-profile assassinations or mysterious deaths of political figures. One specific instance involved a target in Dubai. The timing of the site's activity and the actual event was almost perfect. The forum members on Lake City Quiet Pills didn't talk like typical internet trolls. They used professional terminology and exhibited a level of operational security that was unusual for a public-facing website. They discussed things like logistics, deep-cover travel, and specialized equipment. It felt less like a fan club and more like a dispatch office for hire. A user named Angel seemed to be the primary coordinator on the site. Her posts were cold, direct, and filled with instructions for other members. She spoke about ReligionOfPeace as if he had been a legendary figure in their specific line of work. It appeared that the old man on Reddit was much more than just a social media personality, if the theories are correct. ReligionOfPeace was a high-level operative or a recruiter for a private military firm. His presence on Reddit might have been a way to pass the time or even a method for scouting potential talent. He lived a double life, hiding in plain sight among thousands of casual internet users. The deeper the investigation went, the more dangerous it felt for those involved. People who posted too much about the site reported strange occurrences in their personal lives. Some claimed to see black SUVs parked outside their homes or experienced bizarre interference with their phone lines. The community began to realize that they were poking a hornet's nest that was very much alive. The website was eventually taken down, but it left behind a trail of archives and mirrors. Every time a piece of the puzzle was solved, 3 more questions took its place. Was this an elaborate role-playing game created by bored programmers? Or was it a legitimate window into the underworld? The level of detail found in the hidden code makes the game theory hard to believe. There were mentions of dirty jobs and the need for cleaners in specific geographic regions. These are not terms usually associated with casual gaming or internet fiction. They are terms of art used by people who operate in the shadows of international conflict. The site even had a section that appeared to be a secure portal for uploading proof of completed tasks. The mystery of Milo, or ReligionOfPeace, remains the central pillar of this story. If he was just an old man, why did a high-end mercenary site dedicate such a significant tribute to him? If he was a killer, how many of the stories he shared on Reddit were actually true accounts of his career? He often wrote about the weight of his past and the things he had seen in the dark. The Lake City Quiet Pills incident changed the way many people look at the open web. It served as a reminder that the platforms we use for entertainment can also be used for much more practical and lethal purposes. Underneath the memes and the news cycles, there is a layer of the internet that is strictly business. And in that world, business usually involves a high price. Some believe the site was a front for a group known as a deniable asset firm. These are companies that do the work governments cannot be officially involved in. They operate with no oversight and leave no paper trail. For a brief moment, a glitch in their security allowed the public to see their operations. The investigation eventually went cold as the primary players vanished from the digital landscape. The users, who were once so vocal about exposing the truth, suddenly went silent. Some moved on to other mysteries, while others seemed to disappear from the internet entirely. It is a quiet end to a story that began with a loud realization. Today, the term Lake City Quiet Pills is a legend in the world of online mysteries. It is often cited as the ultimate example of a rabbit hole that goes deeper than anyone expected. The evidence is still out there in archived form, waiting for someone with the right skills to decode the rest of it. But most people who know the story choose to keep their distance. The internet has a way of burying its secrets under mountains of new data every single day. We may never know for sure if ReligionOfPeace was a grandfatherly veteran or a professional hitman. We may never know if the parties mentioned in the code were celebrations or executions. Some secrets are kept behind firewalls, and others are kept behind the barrel of a gun. We walk through the digital world every day, assuming that everyone we meet is exactly who they say they are. We trust the personas we see on our screens because it is easier than imagining the alternative. But every so often, the mask slips, and we catch a glimpse of the person standing behind it. Sometimes, it is better to look away before they notice you watching.